As night falls across the vast grasslands of Wyoming, the howls of wolves begin echoing from the dark pine forest in the distance. At first, those sounds were rare, only heard near the end of winter, but just a few years later, their tracks started appearing everywhere around livestock grazing areas. Young calves vanished without a trace. Fences were torn apart. And many ranchers began staying awake through the night to patrol around their herds. In many rural parts of Wyoming, encounters with wolves are no longer uncommon. With their ability to hunt in coordinated packs, they can reach a herd within minutes and disappear back into the darkness before anyone has time to react. Because of that, many ranchers have completely changed the way they protect their livestock. Instead of relying only on rifles or livestock guardian dogs like they once did, they have started using controlled trapping systems designed to reduce wolf activity around grazing areas. I arrived in Wyoming in early spring, when the last patches of snow were still scattered across the dry hillsides. The ranch owner I visited told me they had lost 3 calves in the same area near a small creek behind the pasture in just 2 weeks. What made it even stranger was that the wolves always seemed to appear during the short window between midnight and dawn, when patrol activity had started to slow down. The infrared cameras placed around the fences quickly revealed the reason. A pack of 6 wolves had been moving along the exact same route through a stretch of low brush, using the dark terrain and older sections of fencing to approach the cattle. Our plan was not to wipe out the entire pack, but to stop them from seeing this area as an easy hunting ground. The trapping system was placed directly along the wolves' familiar travel route. Unlike older steel traps, the newer design was built to restrain the animal without causing serious injury. Motion sensors and remote monitoring cameras allowed us to observe the entire area without too much human presence, because wolves are extremely sensitive to unfamiliar scents and disturbances. If they detect anything unusual, the entire pack can disappear for weeks before returning again. For several nights in a row, the wolves continued appearing near the grazing area, while keeping a significant distance from suspicious locations. They watched the fences, sniffed around the pasture, and circled back through their old routes as if checking for every change in the area. It showed that wolves do not hunt on instinct alone. They can remember terrain patterns and react quickly to new threats. That intelligence is exactly what makes them far more difficult to manage than many other predators. By the 5th night, the infrared cameras finally captured the moment we have been waiting for. A large lead wolf stepped onto the narrow trail near the creek, where the trap had been carefully concealed beneath dry grass and soft soil for days. Just seconds later, the automatic restraint system activated. What stood out most was how the other wolves reacted. Instead of rushing into chaos like many animals would, they immediately stopped at a distance, watching closely before letting out long howls toward the forest behind them and disappearing into the darkness. It was a clear sign of the extraordinary coordination within a wild wolf pack. After the lead wolf was captured and were located away from the area, the behavior of the entire pack began to change noticeably.
There you go. Good boy. All right, buddy. Here to assist.
Cameras around the pasture showed they were no longer approaching the livestock as closely as before, and had gradually started returning to the distant hills to hunt natural wild prey instead.
These wolves are about 50 yards right now.
For many ranchers in Wyoming, the ultimate goal is not to completely remove wolves from the wild, but to maintain a safe distance between wildlife and human life. Across the frozen fields and endless mountain ranges of the American West, the conflict between humans and wild wolves will likely continue for many years to come. But instead of relying only on force or endless pursuit, many people now understand that the most effective way to manage these intelligent predators is by understanding their behavior, their travel routes, and the way they adapt to the world around them.
As darkness settles over the vast fields of Montana, the sound of panicked chickens begins echoing from behind livestock pens built along the edge of the forest. At first, residents assumed it was just stray dogs or small animals wandering out to feed at night. But only a few days later, a series of small tracks marked with sharp claw lines appeared along the creek banks and narrow trails leading down toward the farms. Infrared cameras quickly captured footage of a large red fox repeatedly moving through the area. It moved with incredible silence, barely making a sound as it slipped through the low grass before disappearing back into the darkness within seconds. In many rural parts of Montana, red foxes are appearing more frequently around small livestock farms. They are not large enough to cause the kind of destruction associated with wolves or bears, but they are dangerous because of their remarkable intelligence and patience. A fully grown fox can monitor the same chicken coop for several nights in a row just to locate the smallest weakness in a fence. They memorize food locations extremely quickly and almost always return using the exact same route if they were successful there before. What frustrates many ranch owners is how difficult foxes are to detect at night. They often use shallow ditches, tall grass, or low tree lines to conceal themselves while approaching a target. Many people have tried using floodlights or guard dogs, but foxes quickly learn how to avoid the most dangerous areas. That is exactly why many experienced hunters and trappers have turned back to steel foothold traps, an old method that is still considered highly effective when placed in the right location. Unlike the larger traps designed for wolves, foothold traps used to control foxes are usually smaller and carefully concealed. The trapper must closely study tracks, fox droppings, and small scratch marks around the area to pinpoint the animal's regular travel route. Even placing the trap a few inches off can leave it sitting untouched for days. Experienced trappers often choose soft patches of ground near fences, creek crossings, or tight corners along narrow trails where the fox is forced to step in a very precise spot.
Something, I think.
Concealing the trap itself requires an enormous amount of patience and precision. After digging a shallow hole, the steel foothold trap is secured with a heavy steel cable and then covered with fine soil and dry grass, so it blends almost perfectly into the surrounding ground. The most important thing is leaving behind no metallic scent or human odor. Many trappers even use separate gloves, clean soil, and sometimes lightly burn the metal before setting the trap in order to reduce unfamiliar smells that foxes could detect. Once everything is ready, bait is placed several steps ahead to force the fox directly into the calculated position. Some people use raw chicken meat, while many veteran trappers prefer stronger scent lures designed to trigger a fox's hunting instincts from a greater distance. But interestingly, many mature foxes do not rush in immediately.
And that's it.
Infrared cameras have captured them standing still and studying the area for several minutes, constantly sniffing the air and circling multiple times before finally deciding to move closer. That exact moment is what separates a properly placed trap from a failed one. The instant the fox lets its guard down and steps onto the concealed patch of ground, the powerful steel jaws snap shut around its leg before it has time to react. Many foxes try to bolt away in panic, but the steel cable anchored deep into the ground keeps the trap firmly in place. That is one of the reasons steel foothold traps continue to be used throughout many rural parts of the United States, even after decades of use. However, for professional wildlife control specialists, Setting traps is not simply about catching some fox. What matters more is understanding how they move, where they hide, and why they're venturing closer to residential areas more than ever before. As natural food sources continue to decline and farms expand deeper into wild territory, encounters like these are becoming almost unavoidable. And beneath the quiet night skies of Montana, the silent battle of wits between humans and red foxes continues night after night along the narrow trails cutting through the cold, open fields.